Hey guys, here now this morning, doing a little bit of reflection. In turn of reflection, I'd like to have a chat about a certain something. Now, I'm not going to get into the incident of Charlie Kirk. I'm not going to get into how it happened, who did it, did he do it, all the rest of it. The one thing that resonates with me is the fact that we as human beings, I say we, sorry, the government is looking at executing Charlie Kirk's murderer. Now, I'm not sure how many people feel that that's okay. You know, there's so many questions that come up with it. I mean, but even just to put it in a simple layout of how it happens, you know, all the people involved and, you know, the high experts and everything into taking somebody else's life, goes taking a life for a life. So we're condemning someone for taking somebody's life by taking their life. So it's a total hypocrisy of the condemnation. I mean, what kind of example is governments? What kind of example are governments laying out for everyone? You know, I mean, remember, governments are meant to be our leaders. We forget this now with all the shit show that's going on with politics and it becoming a social media platform shit show. But it's actually, leaders have become such a joke for the last 10 years that it's actually acceptable that our leaders are a joke. You know, then we've also got the awakening to all the dark forces, the people behind the governments that are actually pulling the ropes. Now, that's a whole nother level, because we're now observing that and we're accepting that, and we know about it. More and more people are aware of it and they know about it. But what kind of, you know, as a whole, what kind of a society are we? You know, but let's go back to the death penalty. Now, I mean, you're talking about our governments, our leaders, committing legal murder, capital punishment. So you think about our governments now. How are they going to do it? Are they going to have 7 gunmen with stockings over their heads and they all shoot for the heart? Is it going to be the electric chair? I mean, even still, I mean, electric chair. I mean, this is all not much. It's the same thing as being burnt at the stake. You know, so what kind of leaders do we have now? You know, burning at the stake is a thing of the past, but we'll put someone on the electric chair or have 7 gunmen with stockings on their heads shoot someone in the heart. For me, that just doesn't sit right. Then say Bible bashers are criticised for the old, the First Testament mentality of eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Yet this is what's happening. What if someone chopped somebody's arm off, right? So we're talking eye for an eye. Do we chop somebody's arm off, or will they do time in jail? They'll do time in jail. So chop somebody's arm off, you do time in jail. But if you kill someone, you get killed. Now, some people might, I mean, murder's worse, sure, but where's the borderline of this whole eye for an eye scenario? But again, going back to our leaders, let's zoom out. Let's go back to our leaders. So, you know, what are they going to do? Shoot him? They're going to 7 gunmen, stockings on their heads, shoot him. Then there's a whole symbology of shooting the heart. You know, the universal language. You know, it's symbolism of killing the one thing that is our infinite true potential. Although, you know, killing this person's divine imprint, this infinite energetic divine imprint, although that will never be killed, but it's symbolically shooting them in the heart, their infinite potential in this universe gone. So the whole thing. But back to our governments. Yeah, what kind of leaders do we have here? I for one am makes me feel uneasy. I think we should be way past the death penalty. And what if another country like China did it? The whole West would criticize them. You know, that would be on their they'll be on the Western social media platforms. Look what China's doing. They're you know, shooting someone on the spot, and whatever they do. Their, you know, stockings on their heads. It'd be all, you know, zoomed in and sensationalized. But this is going to happen. This is a kid. I mean, yeah, he's committed. Whether he's done it or not, that's a whole other thing. I'm not getting into all of that. But this is a kid, a 22-year-old kid, and grown men who are our international leaders are aiming to kill this kid now because he's killed someone. So we're all just like, it's capital punishment, it's legal murder, glorified murder. You know, this is bullshit. It just doesn't sit with me. How do you feel about that? And not to put anyone on the spot, but where do you sit with all of this, you know? Are you too busy living your life or it's just another bit of news? How do you feel? Do we feel compassionate about this boy? We should, even though he's done something wrong. I mean, ideally we should be living in a society where people are not punished for their actions, but we're way off that as a globe at this point. But let's just go back to, you know, jail and capital punishment. I mean, wouldn't it be better if you wanted to punish somebody, have them sit in jail for the rest of their life? And the rest of their life, we should be looking if this was still the punishment we're going to apply. I mean, shouldn't life in jail be life in jail, not 22 years or whatever it is? But even still, just keeping it at the laws the way they are now. But I mean, where's the education here? Our leaders, where should they? Shouldn't someone have a process of reformation? Shouldn't they be given the chance to reform themselves? Shouldn't we be ultimately compassionate to our fellow human beings and have them reform and take pride in watching them reform and the flower they are truly capable of being, blossom into this beautiful infinite being? Shouldn't we be, let's keep it simple. I mean, shouldn't we be compassionate for everybody at all costs? I mean, to go to the New Testament, if your neighbor slaps you in the face, in the cheek, you offer them the other. You know, and then even other just simple practices of always showing compassion to one another. You know, not getting involved in people's wrongdoings and on their vibrational level of wrongdoings, and offering them a chance to reform and showing them compassion at all costs, being empathetic towards our fellow humans. And there's been a lot of criminals who have reformed themselves in jail, educated themselves, learnt their own lessons in jail. I mean, isn't that the fine balance with it all, to be quite realistic about today? Have them reform in jail. You know, give them the resources, spend money, have them in jail, you know, spend taxpayers' money, whatever you want to call it. Have them in jail, give them the opportunity to reform themselves based on them learning their own lessons, and resources the government supplies to them in jail to learn their own lessons, whether it be books, spare time, counsellors and all the rest of it, and have them reform in jail and take great pride in that. And if, you know, going by today's standards again, realistically, have them in jail forever or whatever and have them reform, you know? I mean, government spends billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars of so many things, like like war and, you know, war props and all sorts of crap they spend billions and billions and billions of dollars on, yet not willing to spend a small portion of money on someone's reformation process in jail. That all costs too much money, doesn't it? So again, let's zoom out of that. Where do you sit in all of this? You know, not asking everyone to push themselves and go, you know, preaching the word or anything, but self-reflection is the ultimate power in this. So where do you sit with this? And there's no right or wrong, just have your own answer. And that can mirror out into many other things in our lives, and how we live our day-to-day lives can be a big... this conversation alone can be a massive bench point in our life, where we think, fuck this, enough's enough. I'm going to do whatever now, whether it be spread the word, change my ways, think more, be compassionate, be more empathetic to one another. Just change my life, change things. So let Charlie KIRK, relating this to Charlie KIRK now, whether you believed in his ways or not, Charlie KIRK stood for this. He stood for balancing out both sides. He stood for conversation. He stood for the middle ground. He stood for compassion, regardless of, looking at the things that he said. He stood for compassion, empathy between human beings, having a conversation and talking it out, and keeping yourselves on that same meeting ground, and walking away and shaking hands and saying, hey mate, you're a good guy. We don't agree on things, but you're a good person, and I really appreciate you. I love you, in other words. And we're cool. We're just going to live our lives and just keep being on that mutual ground with each other. Because just because we have different opinions, it doesn't mean we should clash or fight or divide. We should have that conversation and unify, regardless of our beliefs. And we've actually seen so many other aspects to each other in this conversation. And that's compassion. You're seeing compassion. You're showing compassion to another human. You're seeing compassion in another human. And it just shows that belief system that you both disagree on is just a small facet of you that should not be a dividing line to fight over. Yet our governments thrive on this dividing line so that we all fight one another and disagree and kill each other and fight and argue. Fear and division creates an obedient society. It's been a government and war tactic for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So when we all wake up to this and know this, we will be aware. And that's what awareness is. It's being aware. And with awareness comes passion. Awareness and passion is the ultimate power in this life. This will be us showing love to each other, ultimate compassion, and being aware, showing discernment of what we disagree with and what we don't like. And that's it. We send it off with love. Don't have to fight over it. I'll leave you all with that. So again, just have this reflection as a rippling act in our lives now, a rippling mentality and a rippling act in our lives now. And let us just reflect in life, reflect on where we stand and our level of compassion. This will mirror out in all aspects of our lives. Thank you all. Peace.